Hello and welcome to One-on-Ones presented by Spires Engineering. Today we are going to be covering how to draw a property boundary in CAD using meets and bounds. As you can see here, we have an existing survey that was done. What we're going to do is we're going to follow the property boundary clockwise to get our property boundary drawn in CAD. So we're going to draw starting at the northeast corner as our point of beginning, and we'll follow along using these meets and bounds for both the lines and the curve. So hopping over to CAD, we're going to start with a polyline, choose our point of beginning, and today we're going to be primarily using what is called the bearing distance command. So let's click that. It'll initially ask for our quadrant. So we're starting at the northeast, moving clockwise. Our first boundary is southeast, so we'll click in the southeast quadrant. Then it asks for our bearing. Looking back over, it is 1 degree, 2 minutes, 44 seconds. So let's type that in here, 1 degree. Now CAD does not have a degree symbol, they just use D. So 1D, 2 minutes, 44 seconds. And we have our bearing specified. Now it asks for the distance, which is 249.45. So 249.45. And just like that, we have our first property boundary drawn. Perfect. So now let's go over to the curve. This is going to be a little bit trickier. We won't actually use the bearing distance command for the curve, but rather just draw an arc. So we're going to come down here, draw arc, specify the radius, which as we can see is 300.31. And just like that, you can see that we're already ending up with an inverse curve. The reason for this is CAD prefers curves drawn counterclockwise, and we're drawing clockwise for our survey. So in this case, we're actually going to need to do the inverse curve, which will be 360 minus our degree that we're given. So let's try that again. We're going to go back to radius. We specified it was 300.31, and our angle in this case is going to be 360 minus that 68 degree, 49 minutes, 35 seconds. So 291 degrees, 10 minutes, 25 seconds. And we're given the remainder of the curve besides what we want. We'll just end up holding control here in a second. But first, it asks us to specify the direction of chord for arc. So the direction of chord, that's our chord bearing. So it is north 43 degrees D, 29 minutes 2 seconds west. So before we click enter, we want to hold control, get that curve inverse like we want it, and click enter. So now we're going to draw the last portion, which is just another regular line, nice and easy. It's going to be bearing distance, northeast quadrant, said it was 89 degrees, 13 minutes, 16 seconds. And the distance was 229.06. And just like that, we have our property boundary.